You're not behind and it's not too late. Let's talk about mental health. You know, I'm 38 years old, right? And I have 3 different businesses and lots of, relatively, for me, lots of people watch our videos and we've helped a lot of people. Sometimes, you know, I get really fucking stressed and I feel like I'm getting burnt out and I'm mentally unraveling. You know, recently I worked 10 days in a row because we wanted to try some new stuff out. And, you know, there are some days, and I've had a fair amount of practice at working hard and doing difficult things, but there are some days where I feel like I'm mentally unraveling. And something that I find not really that helpful about YouTube is, you know, kind of the glamorization of, you know, if your life is shit, then you'll do something wrong and you should use this system and you should work harder and you should do this and you should do that. Because if you're type A, i.e. you want to achieve, you want to do something, you want to better yourself, and you're neurotic. So on a great book called A Road Less Traveled, it talks about, you know, 2 different types of disorders, which is personality disorder and then neuroticism. And neuroticism is where we look into ourselves and we blame ourselves. We think, I'm not enough. I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm too late, look at what everybody else has done, I'm a fucking loser. And it's really damaging. It's really hard, right, when you feel like that. And then you start to watch all these videos and they're basically also reinforcing the fact that you are not enough. Because if only you did this system or did this thing or woke up at 3 a.m. and worked until 9 p.m, then you would be better. When the truth is, sometimes it's just about taking a fucking break. It's just about taking a break, taking a little bit of time for yourself, doing something that you love. And I've really been exposed to that as a coach. You know, when I, just for a little bit of context, right? So I went to Warwick University and was a raging drug addict at university. I was just high all the time. I got a 2-2 in sociology of gender studies. I was a complete loser, right? I came out, I fell into a job and I just bounced around jobs. And I didn't really start to get my life together until I was 26. I'm talking about ages here because a lot of times people want to present the image, they're like, I'm 21, I'm a multi-millionaire. That person is the absolute 0.00001% of that age group. Because I have spoken to young people and they're like, oh my God, I feel like I'm a failure, my life is over. And they're 21. In your 20s, you don't even fucking know what you don't know, right? Still in my 30s, you know, I'm certainly not wildly successful by any stretch of the imagination. And I often tell that to people who are younger because they kind of feel like, particularly men, because men sort of feel emasculated. As a man, you want to be a really good provider and you want to, you know, maybe you want to get married and have kids and have a house and all of that stuff, right? And you think, well, fucking hell, if I can't even get a decent job, I must be some sort of loser. But the truth is, it's just not your time. Yeah, you can work harder. You can do that. It's probably pretty helpful to figure out what it is that you actually want. Because the clearer your goal, the clearer the destination, the easier it's going to be. And also just to remember, don't forget to enjoy life. You know, mental health is fragile, right? And we live in an age where with computers and phones, we can be stimulated 24/7. We never need to be bored, but we end up with this kind of illusion of busyness when we're getting stuff done. And really, like, you know, if you die and, you know, according to my belief, you go to heaven, is it really going to be that impressive that you swiped through 1 million TikTok videos? Probably not. Would you look back on that if the numbers were aggregated in terms of what you'd done with your life and you spent the majority of that, you know, watching Netflix, being on your phone, sending pointless WhatsApp messages, is that really something that you would be proud of to do? Because it's not so much a case of doing more, it's just a case of doing the same amount but doing it with quality and cutting out the things that don't really matter. Certainly something that I learned in my 30s was I just got rid of things. I got rid of things that I didn't want, I didn't need. I got rid of people that didn't really serve me or just fucking drained the life out of me. You know, like that friend who's always having, there's always a story. Or the friend who always wants to borrow money, or the friend who just wants to ring you up and dump all their shit on you and has no interest in what you have to say, and there's just not people that serve you. I got rid of stuff that I didn't really want to do. Something that I had to learn as I got older is to say no, say I don't know, say it's not really something that I want to do. Because people would ask me to do lots of things and it gets easier, right? You know, and there are more and more people that talk on YouTube about, actually, why don't we just be productive by just not doing loads of useless shit? We don't actually have to work 16 hours a day. We don't actually even have to work that much. But if we concentrate and focus our energy on the things that really matter, and phones are just cancerous. You know, WhatsApp, social media, so many things, they're just not wholesome for us. Are you watching something? Are you engaging with content and it leaves you feeling better, or like, as in you've improved as a person? Does it just leave you feeling a bit shit about yourself? Like, actually, I wish I was that pretty. I wish I was that smart. I wish I was that handsome. I wish I was that rich. Because if you're engaging that stuff with stuff that makes you feel like that, it came up in, Jordan Peterson mentioned it. And he was talking about, how would you treat yourself? And Jordan Peterson didn't come up with that, right? Because it's all recycled. But how would you treat yourself if you're someone that you care and love about? You'd cut a lot of stuff out, right? If you're really struggling with your mental health and you're struggling with the expectations, set them lower, make it easier. What's the minimum amount that you could do today? If you just had a rest today and got outside and put the screens down, would it really matter? Would it make a difference? Probably not. Instead of keep just smashing yourself to pieces, because if it's not working, then why do you think just doing more of it is going to work? Stuff that really helped me was I just simplified my life. I do work that I enjoy, that's still fucking stressful. I have more bills to pay, more people, more problems. And I haven't figured it out. And also a state of kind of acceptance. If something doesn't work out, it wasn't meant to be. A serenity, a surrender of just accepting life the way it is to be. Have I done a good job today? Have I done the things that I said that I would do today? Have I kept the promises that I wanted to make to myself today? And if I have, then that's okay. When the day is done and I'm tired, the day is done. I go home. I don't try and just push through it. I don't do that. I don't think it's really helpful. It's really scalable. Because ultimately, whoever you aspire to be, whether that be in real life or through social media, is you're only getting the cream at the top. Probably aren't seeing all the difficult things. And some of my favourite people are the ones who just tell the fucking truth. They talk about when they were losers. They talk about when they were failures. They talk about the real difficulty and struggles that they had to go through. I'm certainly no exception to that rule. Take YouTube, for example. I did well over 200 videos before we started figuring out what content that works. And even now, we'll make a ton of videos and no one will ever fucking watch them. And sometimes when I was invested in that, I'd find that really depressing. Because, we're a team and we edit videos and we put a lot of time, thought and effort into it. But I just try not to hold on to the result. I'm trying to think about what's the journey, how can I do better, how can I get better? Do I just need to take a bit of time just to care about myself? So if you're struggling with your mental health, have a break. Get outside. Go and talk to somebody that you love. Go and do something that's really wholesome, that's really nourishing. If you're thinking you're a failure because you haven't got a job, it's just normal. All of this stuff is just normal. Your struggles are just normal. It's just life. Life sometimes is hard and just think, you know what, all look better after a good night's sleep. I can try again tomorrow. I can take a little bit of time for myself. I will not create constraints and scenarios in a situation where I'm made to feel shit about myself by myself. It's gonna be okay. This too shall pass.